Hello students, and welcome to this session where we will be doing a paper analysis of the set 30/2/1. Now before I start, I've got to let you know that whichever way the exam went, please do not let it affect the exams that are going to come later. Okay, and then there are comments saying that we've got to do set 3, it is the hardest. We will try and come up with the analysis of set 3 as well in the later sessions. It's just that when we did the last session, a lot of students were requesting for 30/1, so we came up with this now. Okay, so before we start, let's do the usual routine check where you let me know if I'm audible and visible. Okay, I am getting comments here. Raiden says, please do set 3. It is the hardest. As I said, Raiden, we are going to try and come up with that later. Okay. 32/1 is what it was. Okay. Set 3, please. As I said, Shaza, we'll try and come up with that. Yes. So I am audible and hopefully I'm visible as well. So come on, let's begin this. And again, please do not let how your math exam went affect the exams that are going to come in the future. Okay, so come on, let's begin this now. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do that so that you receive all the notifications on time. Come on, let's begin this now. This was the breakup, by the way: algebra, geometry, trigonometry, mensuration, statistics, and probability. Altogether 40 marks. Internal assessment was 10, making the total up to 50. I'm sure you are familiar with these. I won't be spending too much time here. And these are the instructions. The exam had 3 parts: A, B, C. Section A, Section B, Section C. Again, details. Calculator, of course, was not allowed. Okay, so come on. Let's begin with all the questions from the first section, and that is Section A. Okay, first question coming up. All right, so you had to solve this quadratic equation to figure out the value of x. Now, whenever a quadratic equation is given, a lot of us generally tend to think in the direction where we split up the middle term, okay? But then if you notice the coefficient of the middle term here, 2√2 is an irrational number. So splitting the middle term may not be the best strategy. So the best method in which you may have progressed was this. Compare this. Ax squared plus bx plus c is going to be the standard form, right? Figure out ABC. As you can see, A is 1, B is going to be 2√2, and C, be careful, it was going to be -6. And all you had to do here was substitute these values of A, B, and C in the formula. What is the formula? Let's say the two roots are alpha and beta. The formula is going to be -b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, and you would get both the roots. Okay, I would go ahead and show you the solution for this. The solution is going to look like this. As I said, when you compare it with the standard form, A is 1, B is 2√2, C is -6. Substitute this in the formula. Make sure your calculations are careful, and then one root will be √2 and the other one is going to be -3√2. So fairly simple question. Okay, another method, however, in which you could have tried this was the perfect square method. Okay, so how does this one work? Well, first thing you've got to do is bring the -6 to the right hand side, and the equation will look like this: x squared plus 2√2x is equal to 6. Now the left hand side, as you guys know, we've got to convert this in the form of a plus b whole square. So this is what? A squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So when I do that, it looks like this: x squared plus 2√2x. I will add the √2 square on both the sides, and this will become x plus √2 whole square is equal to 8, which can be written like 8. And when you take the square root on both the sides, x plus √2 is equal to square root of 8, which is 2√2. Simplify this. Okay, plus or minus, by the way, because there will be 2 roots for this. Can we do this by the factorization method, is what Anita says. Factorization method I wouldn't generally recommended because the coefficient of the middle term here is an irrational number. So two methods that would work out best for this: first one is the formula, and second one is this, by the perfect square method. Okay, so this was a fairly simple question. Let's move on and check out the next question here. Okay, so which term of this arithmetic progression is 49/2? So arithmetic progressions, how do they work? I'm sure you guys have studied them in depth. So they're asking us the term, right? So all we have to know here is the nth term of an arithmetic progression. And the nth term is a plus n minus 1 multiplied by D, where you guys know that A is the first term and D here is the common difference. So the first term here, as you can see, is minus 11 by 2. So A is minus 11 by 2. And how do you get the common difference? T2 minus T1 or T3 minus T2, whichever you prefer. So this is going to be the difference between the second and the first. So second term, as you can see, is minus 3 minus 11 by 2. So for me, this would be the tricky part. As I always suggest to all my students, be very careful when you're subtracting a negative number from another negative number, because this one would become minus 3 plus 11 by 2, and the common difference, as you can see, will change. So this will be how much? Minus 6 plus 11 by 2, which is going to be 5 by 2. Tn here is 49 by 2. This is equal to minus 11 by 2 plus n minus 1 multiplied with the common difference, which is 5 divided by 2. And from then on, it is a simple simplification. I will go ahead and show you the solution for it. As you can see here, A is this. Common difference is 5 by 2. Nth term is given to you. Substitute this in the formula for the nth term. Calculate this carefully. And after simplification, the n value will come around as equal to 13. So it's going to be the 13th term, which is going to be equal to 49 divided by 2. Okay, so first two questions, as you've seen here, are fairly simple. Let's move on and check out the third question now. Okay, so again, you've got to find A and B. Again, this is a problem revolving around the concept of arithmetic progressions. Okay, so even if you consider this as a first term, it's going to be all right. Okay, so if I consider this as the first term A, I can consider the second term as A plus D. The third term will be what? A plus 2D. And let's just say this is the fourth term, then that is going to be A plus 3D, because we all know the nth term is what? A plus n minus 1 multiplied by D. So use whatever is given. Now you know that A plus D is equal to 7 and A plus 3D is equal to 23. If you subtract one equation from the other, A will get cancelled. You will get 2D is equal to 23 minus 7, which should give you 16. So the common difference here that you get is going to be 8. And that's it. Once you figure out the common difference, it's not that hard to figure out the value of A and B, because 7 minus A is going to be 8, which means A here is going to be minus 1. And then again, 23 minus B is going to be 8, which means B is going to be 23 minus 8. As simple as that. Okay, so this is how you would solve this, and 23 minus 8, you will get the answer as 15. All right, so a lot of you are saying, when is set 3? There will be a sheet that we will share you by the end of the session. You can write down whichever set you want the discussion to happen. Okay, so far we are doing this as it was requested in the last session by a lot of students. Okay, so this is how the problem is going to go along. Solution, you've already seen it. Now let's move on to the third question. A solid piece of metal in the form of a cuboid. Okay, cuboid, you all know it, that's a box. So the dimensions have been given to you, and then is melted to form n number of solid spheres of radius. We've got to figure out the value of n. These kind of questions appear a lot in the CBSE exams. How does it relate? The volume of one, which is melted, is going to be equal to the volume of combined volume of all the others. Imagine this to be like, you have a 1 liter bottle of soft drink. Maybe you're trying to pour in the soft drink into glasses of let's say 250 ml. Then of course the volume of the 1 liter bottle is going to be transferred to all the individual glasses, right? Easy to relate that way. So this is how you will solve it. Okay, so the volume of the cuboid, which is L multiplied with B multiplied with H, will be equal to N multiplied with 4/3 pi r cube, which is the volume of the sphere, because there are multiple spheres here. Substitution, that's it. So length is given, breadth is given, height is given. Substitute that here. N multiplied with 4/3. The value of pi, you could take it as 22 by 7. Simplify this and you will get the value of n as 3. So again, I believe this was a fairly simple question. So can you see my message is what Satvik says. This Satvik, this is 3031 if I am correct. Okay, so the first set is what this is. Samundishwari says we need 32.2. That will come up. Okay, maybe in the future sessions we will be doing that set, as I said. Come on, now let's move on to the next question. This is question 4a, a problem revolving around circle theorems. Okay, so a fairly simple question again, revolving around basic ideas of circles. So how would you solve it? I would like to explain it through the diagram itself. All right. Now you know that the angle between the radius and the point where the tangent touches the circle is going to be 90 degrees, right? BC is the tangent, OB is the radius, which means this angle here is going to be 90 degrees, right? And we've been asked to figure out this angle C. Now if you look at this triangle here, A, B, and C, I know one of the angle is 90. I want to figure out C, which means all I've got to do here is figure out angle A, and I'm done, right? Now, observe this. Let me just rub all of this out. We know this is 90 degrees. Now look at this triangle here. Look at this triangle. Now, if I join this, you know OD and OA are the radius, right? And it is given that it is bisecting this side AD, which means this triangle OAD is going to be an isosceles triangle, which means this angle here is going to be 90 degrees. And that's how you can figure out angle A, because angle A plus this angle of 60 degrees plus 90 degrees will be equal to 180 degrees, and you will get angle A as 30 degrees. That's it. So this angle here is 30 degrees, which means this angle C is going to be 60 degrees. That's it. Okay, so this was again a fairly simple question. You should be writing the solution like this. Like first thing, write all of this down, angle sum property. You first figure out this angle to be 30 degrees, and then you take care of this triangle ABC and figure out angle C as 60 degrees. Okay, so Venkat says, sir, I left question 2. I'm feeling sad. It's absolutely fine. Okay, forget about the exam and only focus on the next set of exams that are coming up. These mistakes are going to happen in the next set of exams that you take as well. You know, don't let that bother you at all. Okay, come on, let's move on to the next question now. This was 4B, again a question revolving around circles. So it says XAY is a tangent to the circle centered at O. This angle is given as 40 degrees. Then we've got to figure out the other two angles. So again, I'm going to be relying upon the same concept where angle between the radius and the tangent at the point of contact is going to be 90 degrees, which means this complete angle here is going to be 90 degrees. And you know OA and OB are equal, right? OA is equal to OB. How? Well, they're both radius. Yes, which means the triangle OAB is going to be an isosceles triangle, right? Which means if this is 40 degrees, this will also be 40 degrees. Yeah, since OA and OB are equal to the radius. Now you can figure out this angle, right? You can figure this angle out here. What do we call it? We're calling it AOB. So 40 degrees plus 40 degrees plus angle AOB is equal to 180 degrees, angle sum property. Using this, you can say that angle AOB is going to be 100 degrees. So you see, we figured out one part. And the other part is even simpler because as I already said, this angle is 90 degrees. Sum of it is 40, which means the remaining part should be 50 degrees, which means angle BAY is going to be 50 degrees. Okay, so is 30 marks above out of 40 good in mathematics? It's fine. I mean, it's not bad, right? It is good. Cool. So yes, it's good, but not very good is what Mohammed says. It's absolutely fine, guys. Again, you know, don't let that affect your next set of exams. That's much more important than that. Okay, come on, let's move on now. This was again a simple question. I hope you guys agree to that. Okay, so question number 5 for you here. Mode is given as 55. We've got to figure out the value of x. Again, a question from statistics. And questions from statistics, I'm sure you guys understand that they are more formula oriented. So you have to remember the formula for mode. And that happens once you've, practiced a lot of questions. So first thing, mode is 55. Now check the class here. Where does 55 lie? Now, as you can see, 55 lies between 45 and 60. So this is going to be your modal class. And that's it. Once you figure out the modal class, the rest of it is going to depend on whether you remember the formula for this or not. Let's go ahead and check out the formula. Okay, so this is going to be the formula to figure out the mode. Yeah, I'm sure you remember all the variables, what they stand for. The modal class, as you've already seen, is 55 out of 60 because 55 lies between these two. Yep. So L here is 45. What is L? The lower limit of the modal class. F1, the frequency of the modal class. F0, the frequency of the class preceding, which means which comes before the modal class. F2, the frequency of the interval that comes after the modal class. H is, the class width, which is, 75 minus 60, 60 minus 45, whichever way it is, 15 the same. Substitute all of these values here. The mode is given. You've been asked to figure out this X, which is F naught. Carefully do your calculations without making mistakes, and the answer should come around as 5. Okay, Sheetal says one question has had error in 34.2, in which case study, and then asked the value of X, where X is the number of people. We are getting X variable value in fraction, which is practically not possible. Okay, Sheetal, I haven't seen the paper of the set that you are referring to, and as I said in the beginning, these kind of errors may happen. I will be only able to comment after I have seen the set, and as I said, we shall be discussing a few of the sets that you would type out in the comments box today in the later sessions that are about to come. Okay, let's now focus on this set, if at all there are any students who've got this set in the exam. So far it looks pretty simple. I'm sure you guys agree to that. Cool, so let's move on now. Question number 6, again, a problem revolving around arithmetic progression. This one also looks fairly simple. You've been asked to find the sum of first 20 terms. Nth term is given like this. Now, these are simple questions. All you have to do is substitute the value of n. Like, let's say I want the first term. I substitute n value as 1. And what I get is 5 minus 2 times 1, which is 5 minus 2, which is 3. Right? Like, you can go on and figure out the second term as well, A2, simply by substituting n value as 2. So this is going to be 5 minus 2 times 2, which is 4. So the second term is going to be 1. And you can use this formula in case you want to. Sn is equal to n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 multiplied with d. So n here is going to be 20. So S20 is 20 by 2 into 2a. A is the first term, 3. So 2 times 3 plus 20 minus 1 multiplied by the common difference. Common difference is going to be what? Second term minus the first term. So 1 minus 3. Be very careful here. The common difference is a negative number. Substitute this and calculate it, and you will get the answer. Or another way is, this formula Sn, which is n by 2 first term plus the last term. So you can figure out the 20th term directly, substitute it, and you will get the S20 as minus 320. Both methods would be great. Just make sure you're writing the formulas down, mentioning what the variables are. Otherwise, if you're doing it directly, there may be some marks that may be deducted. Okay, cool. So let's move on to the next question now. All right, so far all the questions from section A were fairly simple, depending on the marks that you're getting, because each question had 2 marks and the level of difficulty was as per the marks, right? Now let's move on and check out questions from the second section, which was section B. Okay, question 7. A question revolving around construction. So you had to draw 2 concentric circles. You know what concentric circles are, right? Circles having the same center. 2 centimeter, 5 centimeter as radius, and from a point on the outer circle you have to construct a pair of tangents. Okay, let's see how the process works. First thing, take any center on the paper and draw 2 circles with radius 5 centimeter and 2 centimeter. Both the circles are going to have the same center O. Once you've done the construction, you have to draw the perpendicular bisector of OP. Perpendicular bisector, how would you draw it? Well, take the compass and take the radius as something which is more than half of OP. Okay, so more than half of 4, you can take it as 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, whichever. Keep the pointy edge of the compass on P, draw an arc on both the sides, and then keep the pointy edge on O, cut these arcs, and then you will have the perpendicular bisector, which is going to cut this at M. And after that, while taking M as the center and either OM as the radius or even MP as the radius, because both are equal eventually, draw a circle which is going to give you these 2 points, and then from this point O, connect this, and then you have it. So this was a fairly simple construction. This is 32-1 set, okay, the one that we are discussing now. Okay, so this one again was instruction based, step-by-step process, nothing much to discuss further. Question number 8. A question again tackling involving geometry. So AB is the tower of height 50 meters. So this is AB here, the tower. A man standing on the top observes 2 cars on the opposite sides of the tower. Angle of depression is given. You've got to figure out the distance between the 2 cars. Okay, so you know, if this is 30 degrees, this angle is also going to be 30, and this, if this is 45, this angle will also be equal to 45 degrees. And to tackle a question like this, you simply have to remember trigonometric ratios and you know what sides do they occupy. So you're trying to find out the distance between two cars. So you're trying to find out CB from this triangle, where this angle is 30 degrees, and you're trying to find out BD from this triangle, where this angle is going to be 45 degrees. So this is what you're after, right? So look, the one of the side is 50 and you want this side. So which trigonometric ratio exhibits the relationship between opposite side and adjacent side? It is going to be tan. So that's the reason why you take this tan 45, which is going to be equal to AB divided by BD, and this way you get BD as 50 meters. And then you move on to the next part, where you look at this triangle, where this angle will be 30 degrees. Tan 30, 1 by root 3 is equal to, again, opposite divided by adjacent, and you get CB. Add both of these and you have the distance between the two cars. Okay, so this was again a question, I believe, which was fairly simple. All right, let's move on and check out the next question now. Question 9. Again, mean of the following frequency distribution is 25. You were asked to figure out the value of F, and F is right here. The process to figure this out, I'm sure you guys have practiced a lot of questions involving this. Straightforward questions, no confusions whatsoever. So this is how you do it, right? First, the class and the frequency. You have to figure out the class mark, and I'm sure you know how to figure out the class mark. The class mark is going to be upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2. So for this, it is going to be 0 plus 10 divided by 2, you get 5. It is essentially the midpoint. I'm sure you guys know this. 10 plus 20 divided by 2, you get 15. So this is how you get class mark. And then you figure out class mark multiplied by frequency. So multiply these numbers, and this is what you get, the product of frequency and the class mark. And in the next step, well, this is what you need to do. Mean formula is this, sigma fi xi divided by sigma fi. Sigma fi xi means, what are you going to do? You're going to add all of these, and sigma fi means you're going to add all of these, and then divide that. It is equal to 25, cross multiply, make your calculations carefully, and then you will get the value of F as equal to 16. Okay. So, sir, I heard that CBSE will consider 30% from term 1. Is it right? We're going to get to that. All right. But for now, let's stick to this part here. Okay. So, solution 9B. So, again, you've been asked to, again, figure out the mean, but this time they've specified that you have to use the assumption method. Again, this was a simple, straightforward question, not that challenging at all. So, class mark, frequency, mid value, again, is going to be the same thing, right? Lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2, and this is how you get the middle value. Now, make sure you select the assumption carefully here, okay? Because as you can see, all these mid values are 0.5 something. So your assumption can be anything, but then an easy assumption is going to give you easy calculation. So that's the reason why the assumption that we have taken here is 12.5. So 12.5 minus 2.5 is 2.5 minus 12.5 is minus 10. 7.5 minus 12.5. This is a deviation that you get, and you multiply the frequency with the deviation. Simple, straightforward process. And then this is the formula to figure out the mean using the assumption method, and you get the answer as 13.9, provided all your calculations are right. Okay. Cool. Let's move on to the next question now. Height of 50 students of class 10th of a school are recorded and following data is obtained. You've been asked to figure out the median height of the students. Okay, so you must have observed that quite a lot of problems in this set came from the topic of statistics. Now, there is only one chapter on statistics, or if you like to call it data handling, but you see a lot of questions have popped up, and these were easy marks if you ask me. Yeah, because most of the questions that come from stats are based on formulas. So if you've practiced a lot of questions on this, it would have been easy to remember the formulas as well. But yeah, it has happened. So nonetheless, let's have a look at the solution for this. This is the table given to you. First thing is, these are the heights, number of students. So these two columns have been given to you. Now, first thing you've got to do whenever you're dealing with median is to figure out the cumulative frequency. Fairly simple, right? 4. Start with this. Now add these two, you get 15. Add 15 to 12, you get 27. 27 plus 7, you get 34. 34 plus 10, you get 44. 44 plus 6, and you will get 50. So this is how you figure out the cumulative frequency. Fairly simple. And now, this is the formula for median, right? And this is the data. Number of students is 50. Median class is going to be 145 to 150. Why is that going to be the case? Why is that going to be the case? Because height of 50 students are recorded, all right? So when you figure out the middle part of 50, which is 50 divided by 2, it is going to be the 25th observation, right? 50 divided by 2 is 25. So the 25th observation is going to lie, 140 to 145. So this is where the 25th observation is going to be, and that's the reason why we've selected this as the median class. And then you know how to figure out the data here. All of this comes, the lower limit, this cumulative frequency, the frequency. It's simply substituting the values and figuring out the correct answer. Again, not a lot of scope for confusion. All right. Okay, so I believe we are done with all the questions from the second section, which is section B. Now comes the last section, which is section C. And so far, I felt the paper was on the simpler side, probably because there were a lot of questions from statistics coming up in section B, and that's always an easy chapter. Okay, let's check out the third section now. Okay, so we have a question around circle theorem. So here's the diagram. PQ is a chord. Where is PQ here? Okay, so this is a chord. The length is 8 centimeters of a circle of radius 5 centimeters. So this is 5 centimeters, the radius. I can also join this if I want to. This will also be the same radius, 5 centimeters. So the tangents meet at the point T. We've been asked to figure out the length of TP. Now you must be knowing this, right? Tangents which have been drawn from an external point on the circle are going to be equal. So we know that TP is going to be equal to TQ, right? And then any chord, this is going to bisect it. I'm sure you have gone through the circle theorems well. So if this is 8, a bisection will happen. This will be 4 and this will be 4. Now, you know, this is going to bisect at 90 degrees as well. So you can apply the Pythagoras theorem, and then this distance here is going to come as 3. Okay, I'm going to show you the solution for it. Okay, so look, this is what it is. TPQ, as you know, is an isosceles triangle because TP is equal to TQ from the tangent theorem, right? And using this, when you draw a perpendicular here, this is how you figure out the value of OR. And then next step, what you had to do here was, these two triangles here are going to be similar, and you could use the rule of similarity, or you could also do it using Pythagoras theorem. Whichever way you want to go with it, I'm fine with it. Okay, so you know this is 5, this is 3, this is 4. Let's just say this is some x. Okay, let's just say this is x. So now frame it. Okay, so look at this triangle here. If you look at this triangle T, this triangle here, then what you get is TP square is equal to x square plus 4 square, right? And then you can have a look at this triangle because you're trying to figure out. So this complete length will be 3 plus x. This is TP. So this will also be 90 degrees. And this, as you know, is 5. So again, what you get is 3 plus x whole square this is 3 plus x, right? So this is opposite the 90 degrees. So this time this is going to be the hypotenuse is equal to TP square plus 5 square. Okay, and in the place of TP, you can substitute x square plus 4 square, solve for the value of x. It won't be a quadratic equation, it would be a linear equation. And this is another method if you didn't want to use the similarity rule. Both are fairly fine. As long as you have written the steps properly, you shall get full marks for this. Okay, so this was a good question. Let's move on to the next one now. Okay, so here you have a 2-digit number such that the product of the digits is 24. Okay, the same old kind of questions that you are used to getting from the topic of number system. And I don't know if you guys have observed it, pretty much the concept part of it, you know, CBSE this has already happened before. I have seen similar kind of questions in some of the prior exams. So concept wise, nothing much. So let the 2-digit number be AB, let's say. Okay. Product of the digits is 24. So it's been given to us that A multiplied with B is 24. 18 subtracted from the number. So from the 2-digit number AB, if I'm removing 18, the digits interchange their place. So AB becomes BA. Now comes the crucial bit. Okay, you know how to break a number down as per the place values, right? Like let's say 57. 7 is at the ones place, 5 is at the tens place. So how would you break it up? Well, you would break it up like this: 5 multiplied by its place value plus 7 multiplied by its place value, right? So this is going to be what? 10a plus b minus 18 is equal to 10b plus a. Get the a's and the b's together. This is going to be 9a minus 9b is equal to 18, and what you're getting is a minus b is equal to 18. Now what you can do is a is equal to what? 18 plus b. Substitute this here, you will get an equation in b, solve it out, you will find the value of b, substitute the b back, and you will figure out the value of a. But in questions like this, make sure you write the steps nice and clean so that the logical conclusion of one step, you know, promotes the other step. So this is how you should be doing it, and the number here is going to be 64. So again, a problem on the easier side. Next question. Okay, let's just have a look at the comments. I'm Chili says it's 50 out of 50. Well done. Sir, I may get full marks. I'm very happy for you. But in case, you know, as I said, you're having some thoughts where you felt the exam didn't go as per your expectations, I repeat that again. Whatever has happened, learn from it, move on, and do not let that affect the exams that are going to come. All right, come on, let's have a look at this question now. The difference of the squares of two numbers is 180. Let the two numbers be x and y. The difference of their squares is equal to 180. All right. The square of the smaller number. Now, obviously, as per the variable choice that we have taken, x is going to be bigger than y. So the square of the smaller number, that is square of y, is 8 times the greater number. Is 8 times the greater number. Substitute that here. So this is going to be x square minus 8x minus 180 is equal to 0. You have a quadratic equation in x, solve for it, find the value of x, substitute it, you'll get the value of y. So I'll show you the steps for it. So as I said, this is the quadratic equation. Factorize it by splitting the middle term, you know, perfect square method, formula, whichever you prefer. You will get two values of x. X here can't be negative, of course. So you take the positive value, substitute that back, and you get the smaller number as 12. So again, a problem on the easier side. Okay, let's move on and check out the next question. Okay, so this is your first case study. Make sure, okay, this has already happened, so you had to make sure that you write this carefully. All right, cool. Let's have a look at this here. Okay, so there's a kite festival, 14 January. There is some case presented, but we're interested in the diagram. Okay, so this is the diagram which has been given to us. Angle of elevation 30, 60, AD is given. Okay, so the diagram pretty much does all the talking. Reading is not that helpful again because the diagram is enough to solve the problem. So let's move on and check out what we have to find. Length of the strings used to find. So if this is it, so this is the length of the first string. AC is what we are after, and BC. So AC and BC are going to be the length of the strings. Let's go ahead and check out how this is done here. Okay, so first, if you have a look at this triangle here, look at what is given, what you want to find, and see between those two sides which trigonometric ratio falls. So this is 50, this is 30, and this is what you need to find, right? So opposite, hypotenuse. So which trigonometric ratio is between opposite and hypotenuse? It is sine. That's the reason why we've taken sine. So sine 30 is opposite divided by hypotenuse, which is AD divided by AC. You will get the value of AC as 100 meters. Fairly simple. Again, in this triangle as well, BCE, you have to find BC. So again, you will use the sine because the relationship is between opposite side and hypotenuse. So you're after the hypotenuse here. So again, cross multiply, you will get BC as 2 times 60, 120 divided by root 3. Rationalize the denominator. It looks good. So multiply and divide by root 3. This is going to be 120 root 3 divided by 3. 3 times 40. And that's how you get the value of BC as 40 root 3. So there you go. You've solved pretty much half of the problem. Now the next part, what do you got to do? Now you already know this, right? That AC here is 100. And you already have found BC. How much was BC that we just found? 40 root 3. Okay, so you found this to be 40 root 3. Now pay attention. You also have to figure this distance out, right? Now, you know this is 30 and this is 60. These are angles on the same straight line, which means this has got to be the remaining 90 degrees, right? So again, this triangle ABC becomes a right angle triangle, right? and since AB is opposite the 90, that becomes the hypotenuse. So if I use the Pythagoras theorem, this is going to be AB square is equal to AC square plus BC square. Now you've already found the AC and BC in the last step, simply a substitution here. So this is going to be 100 square plus 40 root 3 whole square is AB square. I'm sure you guys must have done these calculations, and this is going to be equal to this answer here. This is the answer that you would get. This is, by the way, another method in which you can try it out by drawing a parallel line, figuring out this, and then applying the Pythagoras theorem in the other triangle. But the method that we discussed a while back, that's the easier approach. Okay, so this was a case study problem, 2 solutions, again a simple one. Let's move on to the next question. This has got to be, I believe, the last question for this exam. So again, circus company, performers are there, a tent is there, 250 years back, story is given. Okay, so the tent is in the shape of a cylinder, so you have a cylinder, and then on top of that you've kept a cone. Height and diameter of cylinder are given, height of conical part is there, diameter is same as cylinder. What do you have to find out here? You have to find out the area of the canvas used in making the tent. Okay. Now the area of the cylindrical part where you are going to be using the canvas would be the lateral surface area, right? And we know how to figure out the lateral surface area of cylinder. So lateral surface area of the cylinder is going to be 2 pi RH, right? And cone is also going to be the lateral part, and the lateral surface area of the cone is pi RL. Be careful. The diameter has been given to you in this and not the radius. So I'm sure you remember to divide the diameter by 2. And how do you figure out the slant height of the cone? You know this relationship, right? L square is equal to R square plus H square. So slant height is going to be R square plus H square under root. Okay, so let me just get the values down correctly first. So it has been given the height of the cylinder as 9 and diameter was 30. So I'm directly converting this. The radius would be 15. And for the cone, this is for the cylinder. And for the cone, height is 8, radius is going to be the same 15 for the cone. Now you can substitute these values directly in 2 pi RH and you will get the lateral surface area of the cylinder. But then you have to figure out the slant height first. So this is going to be what? 8 square, let me do these calculations here. 8 square plus 15 square, so this is going to be 64 plus 225, giving you 289. So the slant height that you should have got is equal to 17. So L here for the cone is going to be 17. So simple substitution now, 2 pi RH. So 2 times pi times 15 times 9 plus the lateral surface area of the cone, which is pi RL. So pi multiplied with 15 multiplied with 17. Pi multiplied with 15, I will take that out as common. So 15 pi, I'm taking that as common. So this has been taken as common. So 2 times 9, 18 plus 17. 18 plus 17 should be how much? 35. So this is 15 multiplied with pi. I will keep it as 22 by 7. And 18 plus 17 is 35. So this is 7 times 5. Okay, so 22 times 5 comes around as 110. So you have to take care of this multiplication. Okay, let's do that here. 15 times 22 times 5 times 5. So this is 110. Multiply that by 15. So 0, 5, 5, 0, 1, 1. So this is 0, 5, 6, 1. So 1650 meters were the units, I believe. Meter square is going to be the lateral surface area required. So this is the area of the canvas, 1650. Now the cost of the canvas is this. And 30 square meters was wasted during stitching, right? So you have to add that back. This is again the crucial bit here. Whatever you got it 1650, right? So to that 1650, you add back the 30 square meters which was wasted. And then this is going to be what? If you add 30, this will be 1680. And this will have to be multiplied with 200. And you will get the cost of making this complete tent. So I haven't done the calculations, the paper's done any which way, so I just wanted to provide you a direction as to how the working out must have been. Okay, Devil Wolf Gamer already has the answer here. He says it's an easy one. Awesome, cool. So let's move on now. I believe we are done with all the questions. Okay, now please make sure you're focusing on the next exam. This discussion that was done today was just to let you know the answers and how you felt. okay, and how you must have gone through that exam. That's about it. The other sets, as some of the students have requested in the comments, we're going to try to come up with those in the later sessions as well. As you know, we've got you covered here. Join the Telegram channel in case you haven't. Session updates, homework questions, revision questions, the PDFs, and the fun day facts here. Okay, the free trial class, you could capture that from the link in the description box for your classes later on. And yeah, in case you've liked it, like the session, in case you will find any of your friends, now this is important, in case you know any of your friends who have done this set, the one that we discussed, make sure you share the video with them. They will find it pretty helpful. And in case you haven't, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Now in the description box you will see a sheet, okay? Make sure you fill that out, all right? And we'll try our best, as I said, to obey all the requests that you guys have in that sheet. And again, thank you and all the best for your future exams. Take care of yourself and keep practicing, and that's about it. Thanks.